my name is Caitlin,
What's up, guys? It's Veronica.
and thank you for joining us today at Baphomet's Cozy Perch. Today is our very first episode, so we're going to be getting into how we chose the name, what this podcast is going to be about, and all of that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, such a strange name. So I feel like it's going to be one of those highly requested things. If we don't talk about it first, I feel like people will constantly be like,
people are gonna be like, what the heck is a Baphomet, and why is he perched so cozily? What does that mean?
Oh man. So Veronica actually has Baphomet with her. He's there.
He's right here for those listening. He's just sitting on my little dresser behind me. He always is decorated in a Christmas bow because that's the way he likes it.
That'll be a part of the story too, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So Baphomet is a demon, but we will get into why he's not a bad demon and why he was chosen to be part of this.
Yes.
So Veronica and I used to be roommates,
Mm-hmm.
and when we moved in together, we had this really cool apartment that Veronica found.
Well.
Hair flip. She flipped her hair for those of you who are not watching. And it was a really cool apartment in LA, but it was old. And in our hallway, there was this little tiny, I don't know what we would call it. We're calling it a perch, but
I called it a Jesus nook.
Yeah,
It was shaped like where you put like your little Mother Mary or like Jesus figurines. Like that was how it looked.
Yeah. So the first time we saw it, we were like, okay, is this like some religious thing? Like, I feel like we should have a statue of, Mother Mary or something to put in here. And my mom was helping us move in, and she was like, no, that's for a telephone. And we were like, what?
Okay.
But we had decided that it was funnier if it was for a statue of some sort. However, both of us and our other roommate at the time, Rachna, when none of us were terribly religious, so we weren't about to put like a Mother Mary in there unless it was an ironic thing.
Weird.
Yeah. And I think it was you, right, that had the idea. So you can take it from here.
I honestly, I was like, it'd be so funny is if we put like a devil or like a demon there. That would just be hilarious. And like, I have like a dark sense of love of things anyway. So like, that would be right up my alley. But I thought that would just be comedy gold to have like a little devil demon guy just like hanging out in our hallway.
And like the complete opposite of what we thought it was for.
Mm-hmm.
So, she mentions that to us and all of us laugh. We're like, bah, that would be hilarious, And then Veronica's like, no, I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
And so she went and she looked up demons and she did her research and bought Baphomet here. And like a week later, there he was.
There he is. It's a quality purchase. He's just, it was like the perfect size for that little nook.
Yeah, he was perfect. So he went in there and we moved in when did we move in? November?
Yeah, I think late October, early November, yeah.
And it was just kind of a funny thing. He was in our hallway. And then I am a huge decorator. I love holidays and I have to decorate. So one of the first things I did was buy Christmas decorations. Because it was December. Immediately. Yeah, pretty much immediately. We went to the 99-cent store and bought tons of Christmas decorations. And I had these little Christmas bows, and I was trying to figure out where to put them in the apartment that would be funny. Who decided it should go on Baphomet? Was it me or you?
Know.
Was it a joint decision?
Maybe it was a joint decision. I think those like final bows were like, I don't know where to put these. Yeah, I think that one was probably like, why not give Baphomet his
little Christmas bow? Yeah, he needs to be decorated for Christmas. And it just suited him so well that we just never saw fit to take it off.
He has his hand on like upwards and the other one's pointed down in true Baphomet form. And so he's just hanging on his two fingers pointing up.
Yeah. And he just looked so comfy with his little bow that.
Yeah. And it matches like my room aesthetic now is like very much like black and red stuff. So like it's like a little accent color and it's perfect.
Yeah. So Baphomet hung out in our apartment for almost 2 years until I moved out. And he only got put away if people were coming over that we knew would not maybe appreciate Baphomet or get the joke, right? Like,
yeah, or like really think the wrong idea of why he was out there. I told my mom about like the whole situation. I was like, yeah, you know, there's this little thing, and I was thinking about like putting like a demon or something, and then a week later I was like, oh my god, I did it. I bought like the demon Baphomet, and I did my research, by the way. I know his deal, so like I didn't just like put a random sigil inside.
And we're going to get into that. There's a reason that we've used him too for this podcast.
But my mom was like, okay, well, as long as you're not like worshiping Satan. I'm like, I'm not. That's not what's happening.
I know. And then my mom's complete opposite, right? Like my mom is an atheist. She's not religious at all. And she has a great like sense of humor. So she right away was like, ah! She thought that was the funniest thing ever. And then like when I had an aunt come to visit, my mom actually thought we should have left it out. Like she was like, you didn't leave it out? You should have left it out. I want to know what she would have said.
No, I took him into my room. We kind of snuck him away and just kind of stuck a candle in there or something instead, I think. Just in case.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's how Baphomet came into our lives, and he was there pretty much continually. And then, yeah, once I moved out and Veronica got new roommates, he moved into her room because, you know, not everybody, like we said, not everybody gets him.
Yeah, and just like the inside joke just wasn't there anymore. You know, it was just like, it was between me and him. So I was like, okay, well, you'll just come inside and be in my room.
So, but yeah, so that kind of actually, we keep calling Baphomet him. So getting into who Baphomet is, we keep calling him him. But in my research, so you did all the research originally. You chose Baphomet. I had nothing to do with it. Rachna had nothing to do with it. But in doing my research about him now that we've decided to use him as our title for our podcast, I realized how perfect he really is for the title of this podcast. Exactly. And he's not really a he. We keep calling him he, but he's not actually. So they really would be the more proper term.
Yes.
So, and this is kind of why you got him. So I'm going to try to call them they from now on.
All right. Them, Baphomet. The actual like entity of Baphomet, as opposed to perhaps this little dude is a dude to me, but they, Baphomet themselves.
Yeah.
They.
Yes. Is a they.
Yes.
So they are not one thing or another in any sense of the word. And I guess I didn't get that when you bought the statue and you told us that it was supposed to like be about balance. I was like, okay, that's fine with me. I just think it's funny, so I don't care, you know, whatever. Then I'm doing research and it turns out that there's like a reason for everything, right? Half human, half animal, neither animal nor human. Half female, half male, which is why I'm saying he's not really a he, right? He's technically a they. And what was the other thing? He's like half of this and that, like for everything. I thought that was really interesting when I was doing my research. So I'm assuming that's all stuff that you had already read up on when you chose.
Yeah. For those of you, if you ever want a Baphomet of your own, if you want like a legitimate figure of Baphomet, look for the one with boobs. I'm not like, that's not a joke. The one that we'll talk about later that has like that the church is kind of deemed to be Satanist. They kind of don't define the chest on that kind of Baphomet. So if you want the real Baphomet, it's the booby Baphomet. But yeah, yes, I did know those things. And I read up about like, you know, why this kind of figure is looked upon as like a Satanistic symbol, but why it, you know, before that it really wasn't. And it was just really that kind of stuff always interests me, you know, when things turn out to be like not bad at all and someone just like misinterpreted it for forever. And I was like, dude, that's so cool. And yeah, he's really just about like the balance, the up and down, the black and white, the, you know, everything that encompasses, you know, opposites of each other and putting them together and making balance. And as a Libra, I need balance in my life. And I'm like, this is like my perfect dude. They are the perfect representation of like the things that interest me and also what I feel like I need. Mm-hmm. So they were placed very close to outside of my bedroom. For a lot of it, that's kind of like where the location was. And I always felt so nice. I felt like they were watching over my bedroom for me and making sure that I was balanced.
Yeah.
and now inside my room as well,
even more so.
Yes, my room is very balanced.
The most balanced
it's ever been.
Yeah, as a Libra, that has to feel so good.
And I side really fast. I just learned about nodes, like your north node and your south node in astrology. And basically your north node in your birth chart is pretty much like what you need to be doing in your life to kind of succeed and like fulfill your incarnation for this life. And I'm also a Libra in my north node, so I really am just all about needing the balance.
Needing the balance. I wonder what mine is. Oh God, I'm all over the place. If you're interested, those who are listening, I am not a Libra. I am a Sagittarius.
Extremely.
A very Sagittarius. But my moon is Taurus. So I do have there is some balance to me actually too. I think that's funny because they are very opposite. Taurus and Sagittarius are very opposite. So there are a lot of times when I read things about Sagittarius that actually don't apply to me because I have those like Taurus tendencies to want some sort of like stability in my life and to be very grounded.
Yeah.
So I'm just in constant battle with myself because like I want to go out and just be a free hippie. And then I also really desperately want to have a house and like a normal life.
Just like just get a Howl's Moving Castle and then you'll be able to just like float around but also be home.
See, this is why I need to live in a van. I'm telling you, it's like my perfect, because it's a home. I can make it into an actual like home, but it moves.
Yes. Yes.
I can go anywhere.
You'll have your place to be.
Yeah. Happy as a clam.
Happy as a clam. Oh, I'm glad you know that too. Yep.
Man, if you're not watching this, you're not going to have any clue what the happy as a clam thing is. But it's from. Why can't I think of what it's from?
He's just not that into you. No, that's not it. What's the one with Jennifer Aniston? No, that's he's just not that into you. That's right. Yeah.
Is that right?
Jennifer Aniston's in that.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
It's a quote. They put their hands together. It's her sister. Happy as a clam. And for some reason we have quoted that the entire time we've known each other. So Baphomet, it brings balance. And this is a major reason why Veronica suggested Baphomet as like our kind of name, because the podcast in general is going to be about good vision versus evil within like mythology and pop culture. So we're going to be kind of exploring that. And one of the reasons we even chose that topic is because, as Veronica said, she has always loved stuff like that. I've always loved stuff like that. We both are huge geeks for anything that has to do with like mythology, folklore. And then we're both into your face. She's very excited about that. And we're also both into a lot of things that people would consider fandoms, I think, right?
Yeah.
You would consider a lot of the stuff that we're into fandoms. We're both kind of nerds a little bit. So I'm very into like Harry Potter. You're pretty into Harry Potter too. We're both pretty into Harry Potter.
Enough.
Harry Potter. I got super into Game of Thrones. What else do I like? I like a lot of more of the magical things. I'm really big on Disney. I consider Disney a huge fandom.
Yeah, it's, might be a religion at this point, but yes, it's definitely just kidding.
Disney, don't come for us. And then you're more into like why can't I think of his name?
Like Studio Ghibli. I mean, if that's something that you think of as like as a fandom, definitely things kind of in that world. I don't know what else. What other things am I involved in that are fandoms? I'm like just spooky things in general.
Spooky things. Anything
creepy
spooky
things. Huh?
You have recently, I say recently, but started getting into Dungeons and Dragons. That is something.
Oh yeah. I guess it's not super recent anymore, but yeah, that's definitely my boyfriend now, Patrick. When we first he and I used to work together, and we got a group of people that we know, obviously friends help words, together, and he, a couple of them had played before, but I think we were all just interested. We're certainly a group of like creepy and actory kids, and he was like, he sold it to us in a way where we were like, all right, yeah, we got to try this now. And now we've had our campaign for, God, I guess probably like a year and a half. It's been going on for, and it's so fun. But yes, I guess Dungeons and Dragons would be another big one.
Yeah.
Good old D&D.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. We're both actors. So just in general, we like the weird, interesting, anything having to do with that. Who knows, that may also be why we love the idea of like mythology and folklore, and it all kind of goes back to like all of the same ancient Greek, Yeah,
I think I wonder if like my interest in what I am now came from like my underlying, this is going to get deep, my underlying need for like want to understand and kind of grasp the fact that good and evil exist on the same plane, and it's not like one or the other. It's definitely like an intermingling of both of them. Mm-hmm. And I love, in my own brain, like without saying things out loud a lot of the time, I just kind of explore kind of both of those things in a lot of the stuff that I love. So in like Dungeons and Dragons, that's why it's really fun. In the realm of Studio Ghibli or Harry Potter, or in mythology, because a lot of things are misconceived nowadays, and you don't really truly understand like what they meant to people back when they were being worshipped and all that jazz. And I think it's cool to kind of digest that, because I think it's gotten very separate nowadays, where things are either like good or like they're evil, and I'm like, or they can be both. Or especially as a person, when you kind of have conflicting feelings about yourself, even, it's just good to know that like people aren't inherently all good or inherently all bad. We've got everything.
There's a spectrum. Mm-hmm. There's a spectrum for everything, folks.
There's a spectrum.
There is a spectrum. We all have a little bit of good and evil with us, and I within us. What? Within us.
Hello.
Hello. What's happening? And so that's one of the topics that we kind of want to discuss. And I think I don't know if it's super obvious. I feel like we gave ourselves a really big leniency with what we can talk about on this podcast, which is kind of what we wanted. But the idea for talking about specifically good and evil within all of these things, or dark versus light, is partly because if you're watching the podcast, you can see automatically. But for those of you who are not, Veronica and I are very different aesthetically. Like, yes. We have very different like styles.
Very.
So yeah, as you said, you're much more into like spooky. Your whole room is like black and red, and she has this really cool light on her nightstand that's like a skull. It like glows red. Whereas I'm much more girly and bright. I like fun, bright colors. My whole room is teal. It's like teal and gray. Lots of girly things and elephants and
very zen,
very zen,
like lady zen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like girly zen.
Yes.
You can be girly zen. That would be my aesthetic. So when we're starting to talk about possibly doing a project together, like a podcast, I automatically in my head was just picturing how fun it is that like we have such different styles, and I wanted to play off of that in some way, but then find a common ground of things that we both like that we could talk about. So yeah, it's kind of a fun collaboration of everything.
So
And
many layers.
yeah, and that kind of all brought us to Baphomet, because again, you know, Baphomet is the balance between, see, oh. So yeah, so that's going to be the podcast. We're going to talk about a lot of different things because it's such a range. Mythological pop culture, I feel like, can just mean just about anything.
It's also going to be my upcoming band title, just mythological pop culture. It sounds so cool. I'm like, that's such a cool like ring to it.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, we can talk about whatever. There's so much involved. So definitely don't write us off for being stuck in one teeny tiny little place, because we're going to explore so many things.
Yeah, we're going to talk about everything, man. And I may even start to learn Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. We will see. I feel like one of the things we talked about when we were talking about making this podcast is that Dungeons and Dragons just actually fits so well within our whole thing.
Yeah.
Our little genre that we've created here. And I'm excited to learn about it. And I think part of learning about it is going to be learning all the characters and how they relate to each other and all of that. And I think that's going to have a lot to do with their backstories, which come, a lot of them, from mythology. And, you know, I have started reading a little bit, and I find it interesting that you can make your own characters, right? So like there's no set character. I'm just learning this. So those of you who are already Dungeons and Dragons people, please don't like hate me for not already knowing these. I'm learning, I swear. But you make your own characters, and from the several people that I've talked to so far, I find it very fascinating that two people could make very similar characters and use them completely differently.
Yes.
So it's kind of like that same thing. You're on a scale there, right? Like you could have almost the exact same character and decide that you're going to use it for more good, you know, traditionally good things, or that you're like, nah, I want to fight with this character, or I want to do something, you know, you can kind of, so I find that interesting too, that there's like, you know.
Yeah, there are a couple, there are like two different levels, and I started playing Dungeons and Dragons like recently-ish. Like, you know, I've only been in one campaign, so like don't at me if I explain this wrong, but I'm gonna try my best. There are like two scales in which like your character can be. There's like good to chaotic, I believe. Or yeah, and then there's like lawful, neutral. No, sorry, it's lawful, neutral, chaotic, and then good and is it evil? Is that the word? I can't remember if that's the actual word. I'm so sorry. But like, so like your character can be like lawful. Oh, neutral. Did I already say that? Help.
Neutral.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry. I'm like, it's one of those things where your brain like is like trying really hard to open a door back to like your memories, and you're like kind of there, but you're not. It's like, I know like you can be like chaotic good, or like chaotic neutral, or you know, that kind of stuff, so that you can like want to be like law abiding, but not really care, or you can be like want to just create a whole bunch of chaos. So there's just so many levels. So somebody could be like really good and really lawful, or they could be like really evil and really unlawful, or they could just kind of be like whatever, or any other mixture of those things. So like no matter who, like what you build, if you're like, you know, what race you are, or what like class you are, you can, you know, you can be who you want to be. Wow, that was the worst explanation ever. I'm so sorry.
I love it. No, I love it. No, I got what you were saying. Hopefully, you know, the visuals help me. If you're a visual person like me, you may want to watch this podcast on YouTube. Half the reason we're making a video recording as well as a regular podcast is because I'm very visual. And I was like, I prefer podcasts that have videos because I like to watch people talk to each other. And I like to see the mannerisms and stuff, but not everybody likes that. Some people like to just be able to listen, you know.
Like drive and, you know, listen.
Yeah, multitask, which I think is really fun too. I do that sometimes when I'm driving, but I prefer to be able to watch Podcasts.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. So I don't know. We haven't really discussed the official first topic. This is our first episode, but what our first topic is going to be. But it'll be somewhere within that realm. So you'll just have to look out for it. I'm pretty excited about it. And I think, what are we planning? Maybe a weekly thing?
I think so.
Once a week, try to get these out to you guys, have a new topic, and, sprinkle in a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons consistently throughout the way, because I'm going to be learning it. So that'll be interesting. So you guys can either learn along with me, or you can cringe horribly as I fail at things. It'll be fun. Good times.
Guys, just as a reminder, if you don't already play D&D, I know I play with a group of people who are definitely actors, so I can understand why it's very exciting in that way, like creating your own character and being in a different world, but it's certainly not like the paper hats and it can be like costumes and stuff, which is dope, by the way, like dressing up and like hanging out with a group of friends. How fun would that be? Okay.
Honestly, I feel like if you're here listening to this podcast and you don't like to dress up, you may be in the wrong area, because
but it truly is like just like any other form of escapism. It is just so nice to like jump out of your world, whatever that may be for you, and hop into like this place where literally anything can happen. You are a person you've created yourself, and like either it could be probably extremely close to who you are, or maybe it's somebody completely different, but it's just so fun. It's like video games, you're just doing things that like you don't normally get to do in your regular human life. So don't knock it, all right? Don't be like nerds, because like nerds, but like say it with an exclamation point. Nerds.
I was gonna say, nerds. Nerds. Like, who cares? One day we'll be famous, and that'll be our first merch. Something. Nerds. Say it with an nerds. Say it with an exclamation point.
Oh, cute. That's cute.
Well, anyway, so I'm excited about it. Hopefully you guys are excited too. I hope you guys like the topic, mythological pop culture. I'm pretty excited about it. And what did we say? The dichotomies of good and evil.
Yes, the dichotomy of good and evil.
Veronica came up with that whole.
Well, wait, hold on. Let me find it real fast. It was such a good sentence.
She's very proud of it. And then she asked me, she was like, "No, I'm just throwing it out here. We can rewrite it." And I was like, "No, it's brilliant. We're going to keep it exactly the way you wrote it."
A conversation navigating the dichotomy between good and evil within mythological pop culture.
Love it. I love it. It's perfect. So that's what we're going to be doing. And I hope you guys can join us every week. I think it's going to be really fun. I think we're going to have a good time.
Yes.
And it'll be everything. We'll do some history. We'll do some pop culture. We'll do some games. Oh. It'll be fun. We'll do some Disney, because I'm going to have to throw Disney in there.
Of course. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do some comparing and contrasting Disney, maybe with their original fairy tales even.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That. Because that right there is a dichotomy. The original to like what you get for Disney. So different.
It's so scarring, honestly, when you like whether or not you know it, and you're just like, oh no.
I know you almost don't want to think of them that way, because like you grow up as a kid watching them and you're like, they're so wholesome, and then you read the real one and you're like, oh
yeah,
not wholesome.
But it's good to get that like realistic moment, being like,
right,
life a fairy tale? Is life a horror story?
Again, we're on a spectrum. It's on a spectrum.
We're on a
spectrum, guys.
It's a spectrum.
I'm telling you, there's our second merch right there. We're already coming up with merch ideas. We're on a spectrum. Everything.
Literally everything.
Everything. Every person. That's a whole different topic. Yeah. We've had that discussion before. Everyone's on a spectrum, guys. I believe it.
Yeah. So this isn't an argument. This is us telling you.
There's no argument here.
No, I mean, if you can try to argue, but it's not. I'll just tell you where you are on the spectrum.
Yeah, you're just really far to one side, but you're on the spectrum.
Just, like, I can help. I'm so sorry. My hand gestures and sound effects will happen constantly.
Yeah, see? But this is why I like video. That's why I like watching the videos, because I like seeing that kind of stuff. So, you know. Okay, everyone. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
We had such a good time. I'm so excited. Come hang out with us again.
Yeah, do it. I'm sure we'll be, much more organized next time. It'll be one topic. I just hit my microphone. Hopefully that's not like a giant sound.
Yes, we'll be more structured and you'll love it. It'll be great.
This one was a lot about words. This one was about a lot of things. So, we kind of had to cover quite a bit in this episode, but yeah. So anyway, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time on Baphomet's Cozy Perch.
Woohoo! All right, bye guys.
Bye.